Welcome back to Mock Draft Madness, day 55, the last day of Mock Draft Madness. Today is the NFL Draft, long awaited. I am so excited for the draft and to be done doing a mock draft every single day. But I will say, thank you guys so much for making this experience as enjoyable as it has been. While it did go on for quite a while, I did enjoy going back and forth with some of you guys in the comments, and the fact that people, couple hundred, even 1,000 people would watch my mock draft every day just means a lot because, me and Dobbs started the channel probably about 2 years ago, but we really started getting into it this past March, and we've just learned so much about growing the YouTube, what type of content we want to do, and having fun and being able to really just talk and do the things that we want to do and be able to enjoy them with people who are degenerates like us and will watch a mock draft every day. But now it's over. I'll probably do this next year at the start of April, so we're not doing 55, it'll be more like 25, but yeah, let's get right into it. So today I'm not going to do anything really crazy. I'm just going to try to do with the sources that I have seen today, kind of what some ideas are, and go from there. As always, if you don't know ball and want to know ball, be sure to subscribe, leave a like, let me know in the comments your favorite and least favorite pick from this mock draft as well. Well, no more trade scenarios. This is the last mock draft, so let's get right into it. I believe number 1 and 2 are locks at this point. I think it is probably going to be Jaden Daniels. Now, I do think there is a situation where there is a 3-team trade. So here's the thing. I don't know exactly how this is going to work, but it is between the Giants, the Cardinals, and the Pats. So I think this whole plan, I'm going to play it out a certain way. So the plan is, from my understanding, is the Giants would come up and get Drake May. The Cardinals would be in position to get Neighbors or Marvin Harrison Jr., and the Patriots are a lock to get JJ. So that would be the tentative plan right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trade out with the Giants here, and I think it'll probably be maybe pick swap, a first next year, and maybe a third this year. It might even be more. We're going to offer that trade through. So now the Giants are on the clock, and they're going to take Drake May. So now the issue is the Cardinals are on the clock, and Minnesota and Denver are going to be calling for a quarterback. So now this moves the Cardinals on the board here, and I'm going to trade back with the New England Patriots. I'm going to give them 6, 34. I'm trying to think of what would be like the trade. Obviously, this is all just this is a one-round mock, so I don't know what exactly the trade capital is going to be, but I think this scenario is pretty interesting, and I think it could actually happen. So maybe what we'll do is we'll give them around 2 next year because it's only 2 spots, or maybe a 2 this year, a 3 next year, and maybe I'll give them 90. So we're going to force that trade through. Obviously, it's not the draft capital, but then the Patriots are going to select J.J. McCarthy. Okay. Chargers fans are going to hate this, and this is what I have been seeing. There is a chance that J.C. Latham is the pick at 5. I think they could trade out, but I think plug and play, right tackle, right guard. Jim Harbaugh would love the way J.C. Latham plays, and I think they're content with picking at 5, which is a very interesting scenario where the Cardinals recoup all this draft capital. They have 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, 2 third-round picks, 2 third-round picks next year, and they're still able to get Marvin Harrison Jr. Now, do I think that teams will come calling at 5 if Marvin Harrison Jr. is there? Yes, I do believe that. I'm not going to play out that scenario now because I don't necessarily know exactly who would be calling. I think a lot of people would be calling, but at the end of the day, I do think that is a scenario where the Chargers will trade out. At number 7, I think this is a spot where the Titans might be interested in trading out as well. Honestly, the Falcons and the Titans could want to trade out here. But I do think that taking Joe Alt is kind of a good selection. So I'm going to stick and pick there. Now, this is an interesting spot because you have Rome Odunze and you have Malik Neighbors, and I could see the Bears wanting to trade up and go and get that guy. I do see another team wanting to trade up, and that would probably be the Colts. So, funny enough, they're on the board. I don't know necessarily who they would want, whether it's Malik Neighbors or Rome Odunze. I think Rome gives you a little bit different prototype of what you have because, you can send Rome deep. You already have you have a big body deep, right? Josh Downs is already your burner, and you have Michael Pittman for kind of those short, slant routes, everything, kind of like a Michael Thomas Jr. So I do think if you add Rome Odunze, you are getting kind of a different type of receiver. With the Bears at 9, I think if Malik Neighbors is there for them, that would be the pick. Now we're in an interesting spot because I do think Brock Bowers is the pick for the Jets here because they want playmakers, and if none of the guys are there, none of the top 3 receivers, Brock Bowers is the next best option, and I think he could be a really good player for any team, and the Jets are trying to get as many playmakers around Aaron Rodgers as they can. Now we're looking at number 11 for the Minnesota Vikings, which is an interesting selection because I do think they are probably a Bo Nix team. And what I've been hearing about the Vikings is that they got the 2 first-round picks so they could move up if they needed to or if they wanted to. But there is a scenario where they just don't take a quarterback at 11. Now, here's where the issue for me comes in. I do believe that 6 first-round quarterbacks, just with the information I've been hearing, is going to happen. So, and I know the Raiders and the Seahawks love Penix, from what I've seen. So, I just think, in this situation, one of these teams is getting screwed out of a quarterback. And I just think if the Vikings are on the clock here, they're going to have to take Bo Nix. At this position, I do believe the Broncos will probably trade out. I don't know if they're high on Penix. So that's what I'm going to do is I'm going to trade out with the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm going to give them $22.50 for 12. I'm going to force that trade through. Now the Eagles are on the clock, and they're going to take the number 1 corner in the class in Terrion Arnold. 13, the Raiders are going to go get their guy in Michael Penix Jr. So we have 6 quarterbacks off the board by pick 13. Unrealistic? Probably, but I think at some point in this draft, there are going to be players that kind of fly off the board here at spots where we weren't expecting them. I do think this is one of those drafts where we could see 6 quarterbacks go in the first. Olu Fashanu is the pick for the New Orleans Saints. They need to move Trevor Penning to the right side, have Olu play left side, and then Ryan Ramczyk with his knee. Hopefully he can be there for this year. He can be the swing tackle, or even Penning could be the swing tackle. You need help on the offensive line. 15 to the Atlanta Falcons. Now, I know that Latu is very highly graded on their board. I think Dallas Turner is also an option. But I am going to go Latu here at 15. I think that is probably a good range for him. At number 16, I think Troy Fautanu is the pick. He can play all 5 positions on the offensive line, and we know that the Seahawks need help on the interior, and he can play tackle as well. 17 to the Jacksonville Jaguars. They really do strike me as a cornerback team with a Quinyon Mitchell. I do think they could go ahead and attack wide receiver. So I am going to give them Quinyon Mitchell. Now, this is where Byron Murphy stops falling. At number 18, Byron Murphy is a Cincinnati Bengal. They beef up the interior. While I do think they could go with a tackle like a Tali Fuaga, I think adding an instant impact player in Byron Murphy at 18 is a great selection. Number 19 to the Los Angeles Rams. I think if Dallas Turner is still available for them, that is one of the easiest selections in the draft because of the fact that, he is one of the most highly touted defensive prospects in this draft, and the Rams honestly need as much help as they can get on defense. I know their defense wasn't horrible last year, but you lost Aaron Donald, and you have to implement lots of talent. Now, the Pittsburgh Steelers are on the clock, and I think they're in an interesting position because I do think that they could potentially trade back here, and there are teams that might be willing to move up for their guy. I do think it is a possibility that the Lions could move up. I do think it is a possibility that the Bills could move up. I do think there is potential for the Cowboys trading down as well. I do think, I don't know. They're in an interesting spot. The Steelers are in an interesting spot here. I do think they need, I think Graham Barton would be a great selection for them. I think they probably couldn't trade down. So I'm just going to go Graham Barton right here because I think the next pick for the Miami Dolphins might be JPJ, but I do think with Jerzon Newton on the board, that becomes a more important pick, more of an impact player. Now with the Broncos here, if we look at their depth chart, I believe Garrett Bowles is on the last year of his deal. Yeah, no, never mind. I was thinking, for some reason, he was right tackle, but you're not going to move McGlinchey to left. So with the Broncos on the clock here, I do think adding a guy like JPJ could be a good selection. I also think adding a corner or even an edge. So I'm going to go Jared Verse to the Denver Broncos. Now at 23, we have an interesting selection for the Minnesota Vikings. They took Bo Nix. I do think maybe adding a guy like a Cooper DeJean could really solidify their defense. Harrison Smith is getting older, possibly his replacement. 24 to the Dallas Cowboys. We have an interesting lineup right here. I think you do need a left tackle. And the Cowboys could really use anything. But with the way the board has fallen, I'm going to go ahead and give them Jackson Powers-Johnson. Now, Tali Fuaga is really falling here. And I could see teams making a play. And with the Green Bay Packers on the board, I do really like the idea of adding, a Nate Wiggins or a Kool-Aid McKinstry. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to trade back with no, I'm not going to do that. I was going to trade back with the Lions, but they're not going to do an in-division trade. Well, the Lions have done it, but I don't know if the Packers have. This becomes interesting because I think Fuaga could be a good selection for them. I do think they could also use cornerback help, so I'm going to give them Kool-Aid McKinstry. 26 to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, this is where I'm going to have the Lions trade up. Where are they? So I'm going to give them pick 73, and they'll give me pick 89. I think that's fair. Oh, yeah. So I'm going to pick that up, and we're going to go Nate Wiggins. Big corner out of Clemson, long, fast. Good addition for the Dan Campbell defense. Sorry, guys. I'm looking at my phone, make sure there's not any new news where I could alter the draft. Number 27 to the Arizona Cardinals. And I'll probably do up to... Should I just do this? Should I just do a 2-round mock today? Let's just run it as a 2-round mock. Feeling good, right? One little last day. Arizona Cardinals on the clock. They have Marvin Harrison Jr. I think adding Tali Fuaga here could be a great selection. Jonah Williams is there for a 1 year. He can really cement your line with Paris Johnson Jr. Buffalo Bills don't even have to move up, and they get Brian Thomas Jr. Number 29 to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I do think that they probably would go corner here with all the edges off the board. The first round edges, I should say. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to trade back one more time with the Kansas City Chiefs. Give them 32. I'll give them 131. Oh, this is a bad 95. I'll give them, oh my God, 64, and they give me 73. I'm going to offer that trade through. Kansas City's on the clock, and they are going to take left tackle Jordan Morgan. 30 to the Baltimore Ravens. They are on the clock now, and actually, I'm just going to do a one-round mock today, guys. I was feeling crazy. I'll just go up to pick 40 or 42 because that's the first Texans pick. It's only one round today, so actually, fuck it. I'm just going to go. I'm all over the place, guys. I'll go up to pick 40. 30 to the Baltimore Ravens. I do think they could add a receiver, and adding Adonai Mitchell opposite of Zay Flowers could be kind of scary. Amarius Mims to the San Francisco 49ers make a lot of sense because of the fact that, Trent Williams is kind of getting older. Colton McKivitz isn't your right tackle of the future. So Mims could kind of finish that kind of grow behind both tackles and then play when he's ready. I just got a report from Diana Rossini that the Rams are trying to trade into the top 10. 32 to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think they could add a lot of players here, and I do like the idea of Chop Robinson. 33 to the Carolina Panthers. They're going to add Troy Franklin, get a weapon for Bryce. And now the Cardinals have 2 picks in a row. They added Tally Fluaga and Marvin Harrison Jr. Let's add Zach Frazier, the best center prospect in the class, and then, true center prospect, I should say. And then let's go ahead and add a, let's do an edge, actually. I think we could go Adisa Isaac. I do also think it's possible that they add, let's add a big interior player like Braden Fisk. Pick 40 for the Commanders. I think they will probably end up selecting Tyler Guyton if he's available at this spot. Very high upside, just needs to help with his consistency. The Chargers are now on the board. They selected J.C. Latham with their first pick, and I think with Mikey Sanders still right here, that becomes the selection. 38 to the Tennessee Titans. I do think they need edge help. They need DB help. But with that being said, I'm going to give them Adisa Isaac. We have the Carolina Panthers on the board. They need, I do think they need edge help. I think they can probably get one with their 3rd round pick. So I'm going to say with this selection, we can add Ennis Rakestraw, one of the better corners in this class. 40 finally to the Washington Commanders. So I do think if they're going to be taking a rookie quarterback, maybe adding a guy in Keon Coleman to give a little bit of different flavor to your offense could be a good selection. Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been Mock Draft Madness Day 55, the final mock draft before the NFL draft tonight. Thank you guys so much for watching. Really appreciate it. If you don't know ball and want to know ball, be sure to subscribe, leave a like, let me know in the comments your favorite and least favorite pick from this mock draft. As always, guys, just because the draft season's going to be over in the next couple days, does not mean you don't know ball is over. We are going to be producing content all throughout the summer. We're going to be doing, draft grading, total off-season grading. We're going to be having some guests on the show from there. So our plan is to have people from other channels that cover one team on our channel, talk about the offseason, and then obviously as we get into training camp and other things, we'll talk about that as well. Have a great rest of your day, and I hope your team gets the player you want. Thank you.